Hey guys, today we'll talk about reflexive nouns. In English grammar, personal pronoun have its reflexive pronouns. Personal pronoun me, reflexive pronoun will be myself, you, yourself, him, himself, her, herself, it, itself, and so on. Let's see some examples to understand in detail. What are reflexive nouns? Reflexive nouns are used in a sentence to refer back to the subject. In this example, I cut myself while cooking this morning. Myself is the object of the sentence and I is the subject of the sentence. Myself is direct object. It is referring back to the subject of the sentence I. In simple terms, reflexive nouns can be used when someone is doing something to himself. In this example, she saw herself in the mirror and smiled. Now, herself is the object of the sentence, direct object of the sentence, and she is the subject of the sentence. So, herself is referring back to she. In both sentences, we are using reflexive noun when subject and object of the sentence is the same person. Reflexive nouns generally act as the object of a sentence. In this sentence, we got out of the water and dried ourselves. We is the subject and ourselves is the object. So, ourselves is referring back to the subject. And in this sentence too, subject and object is the same person or same people. Last sentence, I'm going to the shop to get myself some coffee. In this sentence, I and myself. Myself is the direct object and I is the subject. Myself is referring back to the I. This sentence shows the subject and object of the sentence is the same person. So, we use reflexive noun when subject and object of the sentence is the same person. Now let's take a look at common misuse of reflexive noun. In this sentence, Sophia and myself ate lunch. Sentence myself is being used as the subject of the sentence. But myself is not the subject pronoun. So the sentence is not correct. The correct sentence will be, the sentence will be correct if we use I. Sophia and I ate lunch. In this sentence, mom cooked lunch for dad and myself. In this sentence, myself is being used as an object. It's the object of the preposition for. But the only way it can be used as an object if it is refer back to the subject. The correct sentence will be, if I cooked lunch for dad and myself. Let's talk about intensive nouns. An intensive noun is almost identical to a reflexive noun. We use intensive noun to emphasize another noun or pronoun. Most commonly used example of intensive nouns: himself, herself, yourself, themselves, ourselves. Let's see some examples. He himself gave me that book. Now we are using himself to emphasize pronoun he. The easiest way to identify intensive noun is to remove the intensive noun from the sentence and see whether the sentence still makes sense. If it does, the pronoun is an intensive noun. In this sentence, we can remove himself and sentence will make sense. He gave me that book. We are using intensive noun himself to emphasize the meaning. In this sentence, John made coffee for his wife himself. Now we are using himself. Noun, John. In this sentence, if we remove himself, the sentence will make sense. John made coffee for his wife. One more example. I myself paid for my coffee. we are using myself to emphasize pronoun I. And if we remove myself, the sentence will make sense. I paid for my coffee. We are using intensive noun to emphasize another noun or pronoun. Therefore, both intensive and reflexive nouns end in the suffix self or selves. However, reflexive nouns are always object that refers to the sentence subject. You can tell the difference between the reflexive nouns and intensive nouns easy. Reflexive nouns always object of the sentence and they refer back to the subject. And intensive noun, we use intensive noun to emphasize another noun.